back to Our Truth. We have another episode. We have a full panel this time. We have the usual Corey, Detective Wright in the building. We got returning guest, Miss Antoinette. We got returning guest Stony, and we have a returning guest from first season, Broderick. And I'm just gonna start with the ladies. If y'all want to just say hi, and if Antoinette, if you want to introduce your podcast one more time in case they didn't listen the first time. Broderick, the same with you, and we just go down the line.
Cool beans. So hey y'all, yeah, like you said, in case you didn't hear it the first time, it's Stress Blessed and Wine Obsessed. We'll be going into our new season like mid-January, but we got a lot of good content, so y'all should listen. But yeah, follow us on Facebook, Stress Blessed and Wine Obsessed. Same names for our Twitter and IG as well.
What's up, y'all? It's Stony. Still don't have no podcast, but I'm here. I'm glad to be back. Thank you, Jonathan.
No problem. Broderick or Corey, whichever one of y'all.
Broderick can go ahead.
All right, it's Darnell from Talking Greasy. We talk shit, we be honest, and we keep shit moving. Thank you for letting me on.
No problem.
Oh, next, my name's Corey. I'm a longtime friend of Jonathan's. Went to school together, grew up together. That's it.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into it because this might take a while, but it's cool though. I love this subject. I think a lot of the memes you see nowadays, a lot of people sometimes, women and men, that talks about submitting. Just to let y'all know, it's gonna be about submitting. But I think some people got a misunderstanding to me. It could be my opinion. Well, it is my opinion, obviously, because I'm saying it. But anyway, I believe it's a misunderstanding about submitting, that it's a one-sided thing or that it means this or that or whatever you want to say the case may be. And I just want to start by asking, I was just always taught ladies first, so no disrespect to y'all fellas, but start by asking the ladies first, what does submitting in relationships mean to you?
Well, to me, submitting in a relationship, it's kind of like the next level. Usually it happens really naturally for me. I do a little more of the quote unquote wifey duty type things. Cook, wash your clothes. If I fold your clothes, I'm basically in love with you. Also kind of letting the man be at the forefront of decisions. I'm pretty outspoken, so if I let you kind of, I'll definitely counsel with you on it. But at the end of the day, I'll, if I trust you enough, I will go ahead and let you make the decision that you feel is best for whatever, whether it be financial or, whatever situation we're in. But it does take some trust. It does take some time.
Okay.
For me, submitting in a relationship, it pretty much solely revolves around trust and then me feeling comfortable to follow. I'm a very strong-minded individual, and I'm very independent. I have, as I've gotten older, try to put myself in a mind frame of, okay, let this man be a man. But for me to allow a man to be a man so that I can follow and be in a place where I feel like I'm comfortable with submitting, it takes me trusting that man is going to be a man. And that's hard.
And understanding for the fellas, this is what I sure want to hear. What does submitting in a relationship mean to y'all?
Roger, you can go ahead, man.
You would set me up, nigga. Anyway, I mean, submitting is basically what it sounds like. You got to yield to an idea or to a movement that's bigger than you. And a lot of people, I'm not even gonna put a gender on it. A lot of people been trying to survive so long, they don't know how to put a team before themselves or kind of play second. And that's sadly a big problem some people have. And on the men's side, it's the you ain't gonna tell me what to do. On the women's side, it's the I'm independent. I can do all this on my own. Talk. So it's kind of fucked up on both sides, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger, you pretty much just hit it on the head. It's, willing to accept, when you're not right. It can be that to me. It can be simply something as, admitting, that, your plan of action isn't really, the best plan of action. If you talk about, as far as if you want to go into, making like decisions for like your family and, things or, things like that. She mentioned about folding the clothes. That's not submission to me. To me, it's not. But me personally, I expect to fold my own clothes. But
Really?
if that's something that you want to do, by all means, go ahead. But
exactly. But it's like when I'm more comfortable in the relationship, I'm not saying that I wouldn't like, if I'm washing something or if I'm already doing it, I wouldn't do it. But it's like, I have to be, the more comfortable I am, the more things I'll start to do, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
You got to feel like you're worth it is kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I need to feel like I don't want to go in 100%. And not saying that folding clothes is 100%, but I don't want to go in doing all of this, quote unquote wifey duty stuff, and I'm not getting something back. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying you fold my clothes, I fold your clothes. I need to feel comfortable. I need to feel, that I can trust you. And, it's just the little things that show that I'm appreciative for you being a good leader in the relationship. So it's just something,
Right. And a lot of y'all said a lot of things that I agree with. And, and pretty much everybody hit it on the head, but Corey kind of alluded to it. But one of the biggest things with submission to me in relationship is knowing what you're good at and allowing the other person, no matter the gender roles, to take over if you're not good at it. Just for example, like, I know I'm not a good writer. So when my daughter started going to school, I'm not going to argue my wife down about I'm going to teach her how to write. But some people in relationships, they know they're not good at something, finances, whatever it might be, negotiation, whatever it might be. But you cannot accept the fact that your significant other is better and allow them to just take over. Like, if you know you're not good at something, that's one of the biggest things to me. I can't stand when somebody know they're not good at something, but they still want to keep on trying to tell the other person that's better than them at their subject that they can do it better just because of that thing.
Let's talk about survivor mode. When you in survivor mode and then you switch to a team and you not calling all the shots and you start feeling powerless, that can start a little tired out of nowhere.
But should you be in survival mode with your significant other though?
Yeah, I feel like when you're if you and the person that you're with, your partner have created a space that is safe for the two of you, you're not gonna feel like you need to survive because you know that you trust that person has your back. And if ego is in play where you feel like you have to be right or an area that you're not as good at, you can't like step back. Ego and submission, they don't go hand in hand. Like, they can't exist together.
I agree with what she was saying as far as like creating it, but the first step is creating it. So like when me and Devin me and my boyfriend first moved in together, I was still on it's just me. And I had to get used to like, he's over here like, dang, pass the ball, Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here, I'm, with you with this. But it definitely took some getting used to create that space, whereas I'm used to being on my own and he's used to being on his own. So we would both bump heads because we're both, like you said, in survivor mode, and we had to kind of compromise and learn to deal with each other. It's easy when I live in my own place and you live in your own place. But when we come together, that was kind of like the challenge that I faced as far as trying to call all the shots or him doing the same thing.
Yeah, and another thing is, let's really keep it a buck. Everybody talking about a safe space and a good environment, but everybody ain't in a relationship to feel safe. Everybody ain't in a relationship to be in love. A lot of people, there because they got some emotional issues. They need somebody there just to be there, and they have to keep that power, because a lot of people will end their relationships just based on egos and opinion, or to keep what relative power they think they have in a relationship. Most
There
people
ain't
will
gonna be no
leave
submission.
because of those things.
So
And in a situation like that, there will be no submission on either part.
that's not even a conversation. If you're in a relationship just because you lonely and just because you want to look like you happy, that's not even going to be a conversation. Submitting.
I mean, yeah, but a lot of people want this submission, this honesty, this loyalty, but they ain't had a real conversation who they land up with. And if this person even a team player,
or do they know how to be loyal in the beginning? I feel you there, but also what I want to get to, we can stay on the same plane, and everybody kind of alluded to it. So it's submitting a woman's job, or should both submit in some shape or form? Some way, shape, or form. Do y'all believe
I'll
that?
start.
You see,
I'll start.
you see most men be like, I gotta submit. What I gotta submit for? You know, like,
No,
go ahead.
It's definitely a two-way street. I think society, they expect for the woman to, submit more, which I think that's more of the case sometimes. Like, I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to sound sexist or anything, but a man can submit. You talked about it earlier, about, that you're not a great writer. So, you're going to expect, or look forward to your wife to, help your daughter or, your son, right? When it comes to writing, there's going to be, to me, submitting, or just like a relationship in general, it's like a partnership. So I may be good at this. You may be good at that. I'm good at finances. She may, can secure the deal, for like a business or whatever. And I may be the one that's good at, financing it or figuring out how we gonna, fund it or whatever. So to me, it's definitely a two-way street. Men can be submissive, and just as women can be submissive. So.
Yeah,
I think that sometimes where people mess up is with using words in the way in which they're supposed to be meant, and words mean things. So submitting, what does the actual definition of submission mean? It means to yield or to follow. And if you put it into like a logical frame of thought, let's take a situation where I'm following you down the street. You as a man, you want to lead the way, and you want me as a woman to follow you down that way. Well, I'm a logical person as well. So what submission, as in what are you giving to me? What are you submitting to this conversation that I can look at that will put me in a position to feel like I should follow you down the street? A lot of men that I have encountered, they don't have anything to submit to the relationship for me to submit to in regard to them. What are you putting in front of me that says, hey, I am capable of leading you in the right direction? That does not include confusion and chaos.
So in that instance, do you feel like you will be more of the leader, so he should have submit to you in that way because you're the leader of the relationship?
Not necessarily, because one, I'm not going that way. Like if I feel like I got to put out my pants and have you follow around behind me like a little puppy, I'm not going. We're not going nowhere. But if we take it like case by case, if it's a situation where I know that you can't leave me, like as far as finances, for the most part with the men that I've encountered that are my age, I am in a place where financially I will be the leader. Mm-hmm. And so I'll take the reins in that department. I'm not going to do it in a way that is going to be demeaning or is going to make him feel less than, because I think there's a balance there. You don't have to be a leader that puts yourself above whoever you're with. I don't feel like submission means that one person is beneath or above the other.
Yeah, I agree with what she said. It's like she said, it's a balance. So I feel like the submission should be interchangeable at different phases or with different parts of the relationship. Because I suck with finances. I spend a check, get it back, and that's kind of how I've been. But my partner is way better with finances. He, gets on me about saving. And at first, I gave some pushback, but I mean, he knows what he's talking about. And I just had no type of, my parents didn't prepare me with financial literacy, whereas his did. So it just, it was an ego thing. And once that died out, it's like, boom, power team. And, we moved on up. But like she says, definitely some balance there. And egos have to be put aside.
Well, when it comes to this whole submission thing, I'm cool with it. But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, a lot of us are picking partners based on, we're attracting partners based on where we're at in life. What happens? Who submits to who if both people are followers and don't know what they're talking about? Who submits to who when one person is so superior and the other one's on the other side of the spectrum? Yes, it should be interchangeable, but also, before, regardless who's leading who or who's following who, a lot of people really are not as credible as they perceive. And also, a lot of us really don't know what leadership skills is, because it's one thing to be a leader at your job. It's one thing to be a leader on a basketball team. But when it comes home, you got to be, the man of the house, the woman of the house, the kids, the sex, the entertainment, the two families intertwined. That's a lot of stuff that, to be honest, on average, I don't think the average person has majority experience in, if we just being honest. But yes, it should be interchangeable.
Okay, not to get off subject, but when you saying that a lot of people don't have the skills, do you believe that you can grow together? Let's say it's a starter way, it started rocking.
Uh-huh.
Even Antoinette kind of said in the beginning it was hard because they was living in each other's house. So, but it sounds like, not to put words in her mouth, but it sounds like they grew together. They gave each other a chance. They grew together, and then they learned who was the leader. They learned in certain situations. So I believe in the beginning, it's always going to be, you got to figure the person out, then you learn each other and you grow together, and it might change. So you have to grow first before you can really get into that conversation. You know what I mean?
True. Definitely. And that goes back to the whole, who should be the leader, trial and error conversation. What do you do if that, the love of your life, is great, everything else, but they're not growing the way you growing? They not trying to learn what you're trying to learn.
Love of your life. I think that we got to start dating intentionally. Like, when you talk about submission, that's not something to take lightly. That's not something that just happens in every relationship, every happenstance of dealing with somebody. So submission is going to, like, to the real conversation of it, it's going to be in a relationship where you're with someone who you are equal, I hate the term, but equally yoked with, someone that is on the same level with you.
Why do you hate that term?
Equally yoked, because people have so many different ideas of what it means to them, and then the secular meaning, and then the meaning, and so it's complicated. But when you're dealing with somebody that you actually have intentions on dating in a serious way, you're talking about submission, you guys have to be on the same page. You got to be on the same page with what you expect from the relationship, what you want from the relationship, and where you're going. Like, you both need to know that you're going in the same direction and what that looks like.
That's true, but then again, I think what you're saying is 100% true, but you're speaking to the best of people. I don't think, and I know this sounds fucked up, I know people don't really reveal themselves until either you live with them, have children with them, and by then, you already at the end of the road, because a lot of people do not reveal themselves in relationships, their friendships, their family. So why would I expect to get this honest, truthful person who's just gonna love me and think this is who they actually are?
I think
And then
Oh,
how we gonna know our roles if you pretending to be a character?
I think sometimes, like if you watch, but if you really with a person, you know, and I feel like once love come into it, you learn them though. Like you can see through the character, right? Have you ever been in a relationship and like somebody was one way and then y'all got close enough and you seen right through that? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
But I
that-
guess if
You're
you
dating
your heart
instantly.
involved, it's too late. That's what you're saying.
yeah, pretty much. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I feel like when you are seriously dating with intention,
Mm-hmm.
you are less apt to be dealing with the type of stuff that you're speaking of. I think
Okay.
that when you are playing around, you're gonna run into people like that. Like you attract what you are.
Mm.
And if you're not on that, I don't believe that that's gonna continue to be what you are encountering, because you're gonna see early on who's for you and who's not for you. And then also for me personally, just the way that my perspective is, the people that I choose to deal with in that way, I'm going in 100% genuine. So that's what I expect, and that is kind of what I put into the atmosphere. I try not to go into situations with the idea that I need to have myself guarded, or I need to be looking for the facade that they're putting on, because then I'm never going to submit. Then it's never going to go in the way that I want it to go, because I'm holding myself back and kind of basically sabotaging it before it can even be something great.
I mean, why are you holding yourself back? Because you just paying attention. I mean, there's nothing wrong with judging people and paying attention, especially if you've seen certain traits before. That's not you being guarded. That's you knowing, oh, here come bullshit.
I feel like there's a difference between paying attention and expecting the worst of someone. And so what you said was that you like, what I took from what you said is that you basically expect people to do X, Y, and Z.
No, I expect people to be people. I don't expect people to be 100% themselves, because 9 times out of 10, not all, but majority of the people I meet, period, are not honest, do not get to be themselves. And that's just who some people are, because some people haven't worked through or felt comfortable enough to even be themselves.
That's true.
And I agree with that. They
I
kind
agree
of put
with
on
that.
like a facade of who they are. Like for instance, when I'm dating someone, you know, I try to be 100% myself, but you know, like you said, you're dating someone, y'all are vibing and everything's good. But then you start to peep game a little bit. There are certain little things that change. And you know, if you're not experienced in dating, which I don't feel like a lot of people, like you said, date with intention, I feel like a lot of people kind of go out here, they have whatever expectations. And even if you do put your expectations out there, another person can be talking the same, but their actions aren't always going to match up. You know, there's a lot of people who had their time wasted due to that. But it's just like, I don't know, communication has to be there, but action has to be there. And so, like you said, y'all may be on the same wavelength with the lip service, but the action behind it, that kind of takes some time to figure out.
You had something, Corey? You feel like you was itching at the.
Oh no, I was just saying, it definitely doesn't take long to, you know, like Broderick was saying, or you know what Stoney was saying. It doesn't take long to spot those. You know, when somebody's putting on the front, somebody that they can only maintain that character for so long before you start to see. So hopefully, if you're smart, you won't end up like Broderick is saying, you know, where it's too late, where you don't, you know, you have a kid or, you know what I mean? Then yes, it's too late then, but hopefully you're smart enough to not even get caught up like that before, you know, it even gets to that point. So
I think a lot of times we just ignore the signs. We don't want
true.
what's in front of us.
We want to believe what we want to believe, and that's the person for us. That's what I was going to say. Sometimes,
I agree with
sometimes
that.
you see that red light, you see that stop sign, you see that stop, but you just keep going and going. Like, I can change her. I can change
because you want it so bad. You know you want it to work so bad. Yeah, that's true.
You got that one quality that you just look for so much. I've been there. But that's
like you said, you know, you have to go through it to learn. I hate it when, like, I got pregnant with my first child at 20. At 19 years old, I'm in college. So I already don't really have dating experience. I don't know what these red flags are. Like I'm, kind of fresh to the dating world. And so everything he was saying, I was like, this is checked off my list, checked off my list, checked off my list, perfect. And then now as I'm older, I realize, these are the red flags. So some of us, we have to be stupid and we have to go through it. But it's like once I took that bump on the head after that, I was set.
And it's another thing I think, especially when I think we younger in our early 20s, what we don't look at, like my father used to tell me to look at the family, not to judge her by the family, but you kind of get a gist of the upbringing if you look at how they were raised. And I really didn't understand that. So certain situations a little rocky, not even because of the person, it's just because of how differently we were raised. But then I wouldn't change it for the world because we was able to grow together. And then, and I learned like you can't judge off the family, but sometimes if you look at
you
the
can.
family,
It can just give you perspective.
I don't know about judgment.
I mean, what if
Bro,
I'm out?
let me get this, because if I would have judged off the family, like what I seen from the outside, besides going there, I would have never got married, just to be real. You see what I'm saying? But learning it, and then I see, and I'm like, oh, no, it ain't that bad. Just because it ain't what I'm used to, don't mean it's bad. See, at a certain point, it was like, if it's not what I'm used to, I can't deal with it. Corey, that like I was stuck in my ways. Anything that wasn't me wasn't how I thought was wrong. That's why, that's just the truth. Like even me and him, I'd be like, nah, that way is dumb. It's just a different way though. It ain't dumb. It's just a different way of doing things. But that's what I say. I don't think people look at the family. They look at the family and be like, oh, I ain't got to deal with that. But a lot of things that your parents are in you, whether you know it or not. It's embedded in us. Sometimes I wake up and be like, man, I said the exact same thing my mama said, and I can't stand that. But it's just like it's embedded in me. So, but on the last question, so I'm gonna change it up a little bit. Do you believe that a man has to submit to have a successful relationship? We know everybody want to scream the woman, you need to listen to this, but do you believe the man have to submit? So if he doesn't submit and he keep that pride and that ego, walk around like the caveman, rolling his tires, and is it going to be a successful relationship? People can be in relationships and be married. I don't mean,
I think that it depends on the nature of the relationship, because what works for some people don't work for other people. There are relationships where the dynamic is so that there is no submission from the man, and that works for them. As for me, that's not gonna work for me.
Exactly, bro. I was about to say that I was like with some I don't want to offend anybody, but like the kind of pick me types, they go after that, I want to be with a man and my king doesn't do this and my king doesn't do that. I don't
want to cut you off, but some older people watch this show too. So what is a pick me type? They don't understand what that is.
Oh my God. So pick me's, they go like out of their way to show like how submissive they are to their man. It's almost like I don't want to say they never say no, but they never say no. They never, disagree. They kind of just follow up behind them all the time. And then they, post online regarding how any other woman who, may not be as submissive is, wrong for not being that way. So, yeah, if you have a woman that is just 100% like, I want to say like old school with it, but, back in the day from like my grandma and all them, they talk about, their relationships, and a lot of them were kind of pick-me-ish, and that ain't me. So, yes, in my relationship, there are times when he does submit because I am, better at certain things. But for the most part, what I'm saying? Like I let him lead, we're on the same wavelength. So, once that trust is there, fine, but not all the time.
I think a big difference from our generation and the passionate is with regard to relationships and submission is that women were a lot quieter. I feel like we are more outspoken now and we're louder. Whereas my grandmother, she is the most headstrong person I've ever met. Like if there is any reason why me and my mother are the way that we are, it's because of her. But my grandmother will I never heard her speak out against my grandfather. Now, I knew that she was running the show, but she let him be like at the forefront. And if anything was amiss or if there was any type of disagreement or whatever, she did that behind closed doors. I think that is kind of sometimes where from the outside looking in, we think of submission as one would just shut up and let her man do whatever. And instead, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas.
No, I definitely think if it's gonna be a pick me woman, then definitely a man submitting doesn't have to happen if it's gonna be, that type of, woman that you're dealing with. But in today's age, most women are, dependent, independent. They're more educated. They work more. 40, 50 years ago, it was different. So, so most definitely a man will have to submit, I feel like in some shape or form, for a marriage or for a relationship to work.
Well, I'm going completely left because, I mean, just being honest. I mean, if you a dude and you don't want to be submissive, but you want your woman submissive, there's plenty of women that will sign up for that. And the more toxic you are, the more women you can have. So, I mean, that's not really a deal breaker. And then depending on the man's income or status or what that woman finds valuable, she might put up with a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So that's a thing.
But
And
do you, in your opinion, do you consider that a successful relationship?
yeah,
A healthy. Let me change it to a healthy. That sounds better, right? Because everybody, success is health.
Yes.
Health is in the eye of the beholder too, though. So
Yeah, that's why I said yes to the statement, because like I said, a lot of women they want to yield to male leadership, but let's keep it a buck. Yeah, we got all these successful, beautiful, talented Black women, but a lot of these women didn't have men growing up. They didn't have loyal men in the household, and unfortunately, some households, men were predators. Men were took advantage of them emotionally, mentally, and physically, and another toxic man doesn't seem so unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm.
So until it gets toxic to the point to where she's fed up, it can last. And in her mind, it can be a healthy relationship.
Yeah, I see that, because like they're still benefiting from it. Like you said, depending on how much money you make in status, some women are down for like the look of it. A good example would be that whole situation with Earl Thomas and his wife.
Sierra and Russell. Yeah.
Yeah, you came, found him sleeping in bed, put a loaded gun to his head and all types of stuff. And they're still together. I think a couple weeks after that, he bought her a new ring and they were at the beach together and stuff. But as long as she is with him and, has the status and the money and stuff, to them, it's okay. To us, it looks crazy as hell. But she's still getting her Birkin bag. She's still living a lifestyle that she wants to live. So, yeah, to them, it may be healthy. But, I feel like, unfortunately, for women like that, you have a price tag on your head. And that's not something I can do. I don't play like that.
That there's a lot of men that want submission from these women that have a whole lot, and they themselves don't have a lot. And I think that for you to stand on the fact that you are a man and that be the reason why you are justified in having this submission or having this woman follow behind you, probably not.
I think a lot of men use the definition they use the word man so lightly. Just because you're over 18 don't mean you're a man.
Just because you got a penis don't make you nobody's man.
Yeah, it don't make you a man.
Let's
more to make you a man.
Let's flip that, and we gotta have a conversation with the ladies too. We gotta let the ladies know that you gotta respect your man regardless of income. Like if he's making a good amount, he's contributing and everything, and he knows what he's talking about. You might want to rock out with him. But a lot of some, but not all women, their submission come with a price tag.
Oh, yeah. I agree with
And I hate to say this, any man or woman that got a price tag, you really shouldn't be with.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I agree with you, but I feel like you're contradicting yourself now, though.
Well, come on and correct me.
Yeah,
Because we were just speaking about how the money will garner the submission in certain dynamics of relationship and with certain people. But now it's almost like you're saying, but that shouldn't be the case. Well, no, it shouldn't be. But you just said that works. Like that is a successful.
I mean, based on what that person finds valuable, yeah.
Right.
Because
Right.
again, to a lot of us, money gets you a certain respect, position, whatever. But that is what it is. I'm not trying to be hypocritical. I'm just stating how things are.
the reality of the world. But
Unfortunately,
I feel that at the end of the day, when y'all both go home and y'all lay down, y'all ain't up there. Y'all, I mean, some people are counting dollars, but eventually that money going, it's gonna take a time where you got to be real with each other. Y'all, it's gonna be about you and her, or you and him. So the money not gonna matter to me.
shit.
Like to me, like I'm not saying not gonna matter, but I'm saying it wouldn't matter. If it get bad enough, you're not gonna say, "Oh, he got money though." The people that say that are miserable. They might be spending millions, but we don't see the real life. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if that's not true, then you see a lot of these wealthy people commit suicide. Money is not the end all be all. If it was, wouldn't no rich people commit suicide?
Listen, it's not the end all be all. Money is just a tool for us to use to survive in this society, but also it's part of our relationships, whether we want to downplay it or not. It just is. I don't put no too much stock in it, but does it come up in relationships, good, bad, and different? Yeah.
I think it comes up.
It's just, to me, with money, that's quote unquote like a medication. It's something just to like help you get through, whatever it is that you're going through. So she brought up Earl Thomas and his wife. Now, if he was just an ordinary Joe, would she have stuck by his side, or?
Hell yeah.
Nah, he probably would have got shot, bro.
Bro, do you know how many? You can ask Corey because he a police officer. Ask him how many people will be in a domestic violence situation then stay in that shit.
That's more of a mental thing too, though.
But no, we talking about that's more of a mental thing, a mental thing. But
yeah,
it's just I just feel like money in situations like that, like money is a
Band-Aid.
Like I said, it's almost it's like a Band-Aid. It's like a pill that you can pop to help mend whatever it is that that you're going through. Today when I was looking at church today, the pastor said that David, when you're dealing with pain, there's 3 types of ways that you can deal with pain. And David, his way of dealing with pain was he pretty much medicated his pain. He would put things into place to cover up the pain that he was going through. So like money, for instance, can be something that you medicate with to See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
No, but
I think what he's saying is money can be used as a vice. Like people use.
oh, okay, now I get it.
They can use
Now I
money
get
to
it.
cover
Now I
up
get
their imperfection. So a man,
Yeah.
he gonna go to the woman. He gonna go buy the drinks at the bar. He gonna have the Rolex on. He gonna go get in a nice car, and then he gonna catch her eye, and she gonna get into a bad situation. Money can be his way to make himself look better than what he really is.
I
I feel
think
like
go ahead. No,
I
it's
feel
good.
like with money, when people hold it to like that high of a standard, it's almost like I look at it as people who haven't had anything.
Mhm.
A perfect situation would be like little baby, his baby mama. I've been seeing them, memes and stuff. And the meme was like little baby mama crying in Dubai, and I'm over here crying on, down the street at Keith. At least she's crying in Dubai. And so many people feel like, I can basically, when you have that status or whatever, I can just buy her a bag. I can buy her a car. And so when you accept it, I feel like you ain't never had nothing. You know what I'm saying? You never had nothing of your own. And so it's going to feel like, ooh, I'm so loved because he's giving me all this stuff that I never had. But, it ain't what it is. Some people just, like I said, they just never had nothing. So they go based off that amount of money.
The money only gonna work for somebody that don't have their own. Like you can't, there's nothing you can dangle in front of my face that's gonna make me feel like I need to stay in a situation that does not serve me. No amount of money, because I got enough of my own. But I think though a lot of men, the ones that I've encountered, they find their value in what they can monetarily provide or their status financially, and it's unfortunate because I honestly, truly, when I'm looking for a partner or a man that I'm going to date, what he makes is inconsequential to me as long as he is able to provide for himself. But so many men feel like their worth comes from their pocket, that they put that in the forefront, and then that they try to start dating outside their means as far as like taking on dates and splurging on this and becoming financially irresponsible. But then down to it, they want you to, for me, the idea of seeing somebody do that, I can't respect you. I can't respect you because you're irresponsible. I'm not going to follow you.
Well, I kind of don't believe you, Miss Stoney, because that looked like a nice ass apartment with the dope ass scenery and everything else.
I got my own money. That's what I'm saying. I have my own money.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, you still gotta maintain a certain lifestyle.
Yeah, me. I can maintain my lifestyle. I don't need no man to maintain it for me. I'm not looking for that.
So just as long as he's
so a nigga who work at Family Dollar can shoot a shot.
At 30 years old, no. And I'm glad you asked that question, because at 30 years old, if you are working at Family Dollar,
are you going to submit to him?
Let me finish. At 30 years old, if you're working at Family Dollar and it's not for some ridiculous circumstance, no, I'm not dating you. No, I'm not going to follow you, because the type of man that I want that's for me is ambitious, and he's going to want more than Family Dollar. Unless you're trying to own that Family Dollar, we don't have nothing to talk about. A broke man won't stay broke if he is ambitious and he has drive and dedication. That's where the difference comes in. So if you're coming down on hard times, I get it. Cool, whatever. We can work at that together. But if you broke because you broke and you good with staying there, no.
You broke because you buy J's every time they come out.
Yeah, I'm not with that.
Oh man.
I know with me, like my mom, me and her, my upbringing, it was pretty cool, but we did go through a stage of abuse. And with her apologies would be gifts and money and stuff like that. So now that I'm older and I'm grown, when that stuff is brought to me, it's an automatic turn off. I don't really like gifts. I don't like, I like being bought certain things, but I'm more simple because it brings me back to, you're just trying to like buy me. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I'm I ain't gonna say I'm just gonna date someone who's just, broken down and stagnant, but it's like, your money doesn't mean anything to me. There's nothing that you can buy for me that's just gonna make me feel like, whatever you're doing wrong in the relationship is gonna can be forgiven. Like I can't be bought. It's already been done.
Well, that kind of brings us back to the whole submission thing that I think we lightly slipped over. I think you kind of got to have the same. Maybe. Well, I think Stoney brought it up. Excuse me. You kind of had to be on the same wavelengths when it comes to what y'all want to do, because I mean, you can't submit to an idea that ain't going your way. Like if y'all want to retire millionaires, but like I said, you working at Family Dollar and you only upgrading so much, and you only investing into Roth IRAs and mutual funds so much based on your income. I mean, we can't submit, because we don't have the same goals. We don't have the same, maybe not even the same ideas, but at least want to walk the same path to get to
Yeah, I
a
think
certain goal.
Yeah, you have to be on the same.
Yeah.
page.
Not really. No. I mean,
I agree with you. That's what I'm saying.
So I just, but only thing I was trying to say though, I wasn't trying to disagree with you when you said that. I was just trying to say I can start in a whole nother book, because I cannot lie. Like, that's why I always say, because I don't like people. This is way off subject, but anyway, it's gonna fit up. Just give me a minute. I don't like people like Jada and Will that put themselves on that pedestal. Then when they get knocked off, they come and get that weak episode. To me, that was a weak explanation that they gave. When they put themselves on that pedestal for the world to see forever, like, I don't like when people put themselves on that pedestal. So that's why I say, like, I just got to tell some of the truth. Like, we started in 2 different books. Then we got on the same page, if that makes sense. So when I started, I ain't gonna lie, in the beginning, I was like, I ain't no way this gonna work. But eventually we figured it out to get on the same page. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, sometimes people look at people and automatically judge them without learning them, and you don't know what you're missing out on in 5-10 years down the road. That's all I'm saying. So you gotta be willing to see the good in the person and then see the messed up in you and be like, yo, how am I gonna talk crap when my life is
See the messed up in you. That's a good one.
I mean, that goes back to being a good leader. And that's why a lot of people don't have that trait, because being a leader isn't I'm the best at everything. Being a leader is, where y'all should go, what components are best in certain areas, and you got to have that humble, honest conversation, like you said, Jonathan. But that eating humble pie ain't for everybody. Most people don't like that taste.
That pie nasty, boy. I ain't gonna.
Nasty.
Hey, but it changed your life though. It's nasty, but it'll change you though.
It will, bro.
But
I think that you can, like, kind of weed out those kind of people that have fixed mindsets versus growth mindsets early on with targeted questions and how they respond to the idea of things that are not in line with what they think. Like, if they're not open-minded to even consider things that are outside their realm of thinking, I don't feel like that is going to be someone that you can grow with.
Well,
that are fixed in how they think and what they believe, and think that their opinion is the end all be all.
Well, Brittany, I think you have a pretty good idea on that, because we both know egos and opinions is a big thing, and most people are what I would dare say scared to test out their ideologies and philosophies, because most people don't want to be wrong. Most people don't want to open up, because that puts them in a place of lesser than, or I don't know as much, or I can't really speak on X, Y, and Z. And most people don't want to think like that. Unfortunately.
Yes. What you always say, accountability. Y'all kill me in the group when y'all be like, where's the accountability women? But it's with men too. Men showed on both genders. A lot of us don't want to be accountable, but once you learn how to be accountable to yourself, once you learn how to look in the mirror and honestly tell yourself, nah, I'm messed up, then that's what I was trying to say in our question in our group, Sonny. I was trying to say that once you fix yourself, it's amazing how to fix people around you that's close to you. It's not even because you're advocate. It's just because they're like, well, he can change that I couldn't stand and I ain't say nothing. well, maybe I can work on this that he's complaining about. You know, it's not even
Absolutely.
demanding it, but you know, but we coming up on the hour, and I just want any last comments, advice. You know, I always like to let people give food for thought, or if you don't have any food for thought, if you just want to get something off your chest, this is the platform. That's why I call it Our Truth. It's for everybody. You know?
Think into or look into who you actually are, because a lot of times I feel like until you get to a certain point of understanding yourself, you're going to inadvertently you're going to put on a facade for people, and nobody's going to know the true you because you don't know you. You have to look at who you are, especially from the point of view of other people. A lot of people don't take in like what other people say about them. Well, it's coming from somewhere. If that's the type of person that you present yourself to be, and this is what people are receiving from you, that's something to look into.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah,
dope.
I just want to say, for any man out there who believes that a woman should always submit and he shouldn't submit, like just change your way of thinking. For a man to submit, to me, it kind of means too that I'm open to a criticism of myself. So maybe everything that I see isn't right, even though my last name is right. I know I'm not always right at the time, so all the time. So, so just keep that open mind to just be criticized, because you never know, she can, or whoever it is can make you better, make you a better person, and that's really all I gotta say. So.
Well, if you say the word submit and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, you still have some self-work to do. I see so many times where we talk about submission and it's kind of like this begrudging type attitude toward it because I feel like looked at negative by some people. So, if it leaves you feeling some type of way, you still need to work on that ego and, be a team player. Also, I want to say, if you see potential in someone, like Jonathan brought up, if you see that potential and they're actively working on it, don't be afraid to give that person a chance. We might not be on the, same level right here, right now, but if we're both working on each other, we can surely get to it. And I mean, me and mine are living proof of that. We started off pretty different, but his strengths were my weaknesses and vice versa. And it just kind of was like a puzzle. And so you have to be willing to go based off potential, which can sometimes be challenging because we all kind of want the full package. But I mean, if the potential is there and they're putting work in toward it, then go ahead and give it a chance. I mean, if you start seeing too many red flags or one that you just not fooling with, you can always cut it off.
My last word of advice is, with a relationship, just make sure you put 4 things in it: humbleness, honesty, open-mindedness, and be yourself.
And all I got to say is, if you don't believe in Jesus or God, you at least heard the story. So even Jesus in the Bible gave himself, he was supposed to, and so in the stories, he's supposed to be, the high power. He has all power, and he still put himself behind for a whole nation of people that he haven't even met yet. So I just feel like sometimes get out your own way. You're not always right. No one is. If you are, then let me know them lotto numbers so I can get some money. But other than that, we have the merch, and I have 3 Scullys for Miss Antoinette, Miss Stoney, and Broderick. Just shoot me whatever you want me to either mail it to, or if you want me to meet, and I can give it to you. I know it's COVID, so if you want me to mail
where
it,
mine at, bro?
I got you. I knew you was gonna go there.
Yeah,
I got yours. I can see you anytime. So this is for the guest hosts, not the people that know me personally like that.
Cool. No, that's all good.
Thank
I
you.
got them. It's no fee. I'm not charging y'all anything. My idea was to have these for y'all last time, but they didn't come yet. So, and I will be mass producing more merch. So look out for that. And I will have a website coming soon. It's only gonna get bigger and better. You know, everybody stay tuned. And that's all we got this time. And I enjoyed everybody that was on. I appreciate y'all. And hope to see y'all again very soon.